Krieger-Watkins here with another edition of The Scoop for Mason County Press, brought to you by West Shore Bank and Betten Baker Ford. And today I am joined with Ray Burns, Director of Sales and Marketing at Great Lakes Castings. How are you?
Good, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Like I said, I've never been here before. I've driven past it my entire life, but never have gotten to step foot in here.
Good, welcome.
Yeah, so we are here to talk about, oh my gosh, please. Wow, you don't think that this is going to be that heavy sitting down, but you guys did something kind of cool during COVID. You saw that there was a great deal of people going to home fitness, and Meijers, I don't know for sure, did Meijers contact you or did you guys contact them?
A little bit of a combination. So Meijer, based in Grand Rapids, when COVID hit and the gym started closing up and everything,
Sure.
they saw a spike in their demand, as anybody in the fitness equipment, if you follow it, did. So they did some research. They were bringing the product they were buying was coming through a distributor out of China.
Okay.
So they said, hey, why don't we do this local? And if you follow the foundry industry, there's been success story after success story starting back in about April of it. What we call it in the industry is reshoring. This type of work, weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, all moved to China in the late 90s, early 2000s because it's simple geometry. They're not after any strong material structural properties.
Sure.
They just want mass, and they want it quickly. So many foundries come to step to the plate. You know, business is tanked in other markets, so it's kind of a niche. So Meijer was looking at it. They have their own brand by the name of Active, which what I understood before this was more apparel stuff. So they're looking at it, hey, this is the first really piece of equipment that we can design, get to the market, and they're touting the made in Michigan, made in the USA.
Yeah.
Theme. So we actually were referred to them by our friends at East Jordan Iron Works.
Okay.
Up in East Jordan.
They're the ones that make the
manhole covers
yeah.
and sewer
Yep.
grates. Fifth generation family-owned company, great foundry. Meijer had reached out to them, the athletic buyer, fitness equipment buyer at Mile, did some research. And East Jordan's one of the best foundries around, and they called them, these parts are way too small for them. So
Okay.
the COO at Meijer knew Rob Killips, our president and CEO at the time, so called Rob and said, hey, here's an opportunity for you. So we got in touch with Meijer, and that happened about late spring, early summer. We did some prototyping to show Meijer what things would look like in this, and by the time fall rolled around, Meijer said it makes sense for us to get in this business. There was an investment they had to make.
Sure.
This type of thing. So we started to ramp things up to cover the December Christmas into New Year's resolution rush. Usually that's their peak season. We should be coming down in it now, but we're not. In fact, I was just at Meijer Monday night, and they only have like 3 weights on the shelf.
It's very cool to see them in the store, and they say, you know, like made in Ludington, Michigan, and it's a cool thing because they're both Michigan-based companies.
Correct.
And that kind of thing. So what goes into, because you sent me a video, kind of like a spec of what happened, and there's 3 actually companies that are involved. You guys, Meijer, and then a company down in Grand Haven?
Yep, they're our supplier for painting. We don't do any painting internally, so they're our subcontractor.
Okay, so what do you guys actually do here to make this?
Okay, so what we do, we make the mold is made from sand. You know,
Okay.
We look at the supply chain. Our sand comes from Nugent Sand down in Muskegon. So it's a very local product from that end. So we mix sand, clay, water, some other additives, and then we put it in this big hydraulic press. Makes a mold from the tool, and there's a void in that mold that basically will fill with iron to make the part. So we cast the parts up here, and then they come out and they've got dirty sand. You couldn't even, you'll see the shape, but it's not anything you would have to grab. So then we tumble blast them in like a big washing machine, and we throw this steel shot at it, and it gets them nice and clean and gray. From there, we ship them down. We have an operation in Holland that does grinding. So it'll go around the casting. There's flash on the two halves. It'll knock the high points off, and they'll do a visual inspection.
Okay.
And then we ship them, and Holland's about 90 miles away from us right now. Then we ship them about 7 miles back up the road to Grand Haven Powder Coat. They hang them on a tree. They go through, and basically it's an electrostatic process. They put a two-phase powder on there, and then it goes through an oven to bake the paint on. That's why you get, this stuff is very hard and it's not like regular paint.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Go up and scratch it.
I think people would think that it was metal, like metal just that looked like that, because I had no idea that was actually paint until I watched that video. So how hot? Like when you're pouring them into a cast?
So we're pouring above 2,500 degrees.
Oh, okay.
And then we want to get down about 1,100 degrees, and then the mold, it's in a stream or a mold stack that just gradually moves down the line. And as it's moving down the line, everything's cooling down. Well, then it gets to the end of the line, and it drops off about a foot table. And then the sand kind of separates away, goes through vibrating decks.
Oh, neat. That's cool.
And
I'm guessing this brought in a lot of new jobs.
We've increased our staffing, not solely just based on this.
Sure.
But our staffing levels have gone up because our business is just booming right now. We're currently at about a 15% increase over where we were at the end of the year.
Awesome.
And we still have openings. If anybody wants to make a good wage with good benefits, we've got openings here and in Holland. And Grand Haven Powder Coat had to add a few bodies also from that end. So it's just a really neat success story, that's very regional. And Meijer, I think they're up to like 257 stores now in the Midwest region, which are Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Kentucky, I believe, from that end. So
it is very cool. Well, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I think this is a really kind of unique, like you said, story, and it's a success story when you hear so many bad things that are happening because of COVID. So this has been kind of awesome for you guys. Cool.
Good silver lining.
Yeah. For any other news, check out MasonCountyPress.com, and our weather is always brought to you by Smith & Eddy Insurance. And if you're looking to get into the home fitness game, check out Meijers around the Midwest, and you can find these dumbbells provided by Great Lakes Castings.